Hey, what's going on guys? Zach's Corolla back at it again with another video. Today for the Corolla, we have a crazy install. We have a carbon fiber steering wheel. Before we hop into the video, before we get to this install and before I show you what it looks like, I do want to let you know I do have Instagram, I do have TikTok, and if you don't follow me already, go ahead and check me out at Zach's Corolla. And if you're new to this channel, which you probably are, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'm going to do my best to start putting out more videos, start posting a little bit more here and there. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, I know you're not ready for this, but I'm about to show you what it looks like, alright? Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Bam! There it is. Carbon fiber steering wheel. Super insane looking. And as you know from my first video, I do love yellow accents. So what did I do? I got yellow stitching for the wheel. I think this is insane. I think it's a nice little detail for me personally. I just love little intricate things like that. And of course, this is carbon fiber as well. And then I'm gonna use the OEM airbag and everything like that. But yeah, let's hop right on in. Let's get into it. All right, guys, first things first, we are gonna lift the hood and we are gonna disconnect the battery. I'm probably gonna have to remove the strut bar first in order to get to the battery. So let's do that first. Alright, so to remove the battery, we are going to use a 10mm socket here. And if you don't know where the battery is, come take a look over here. Let me show you. So that 10mm bolt is going to be right over there where my finger is pointing exactly at. So we're going to crank it from the side and we're going to take that off. We're going to safely and gently pull it up. All right, let's do it. And we're going to make sure we do this carefully so we don't drop this little bolt in the whole bay. Because that would suck, wouldn't it? Alright, just disconnected that battery. We're going to be very careful here. So first things first, we do have some holes that we are going to push through. There is a total of 3. So if you look down here, we do have 1 here, 2 there, and then the third one is actually going to be on the right side of the wheel here. Right there. So we are just going to push in through there. I'm going to find something that I can use to just push through the hole, and then from there it'll push out the airbag and it will not explode in your face because the car battery is disconnected. So yeah, that's good. So we are going to have added with these holes, we are going to use a pen. It looks like it can fit in there, and we are going to try to push this out, this centerpiece right here. So it looks like it fits underneath there. Looks like it slid a little bit. Let's try to get it again at a different angle. Alright guys, so I have to admit I was struggling a little bit, but what I did was I actually reconnected the battery and I turned the wheel upside down, so that way it gave me a little bit more leverage for this top hole up here. And then we were able to get a pin inside and push the little pin, and on the side over here and push that little pin, and likewise over here. So now we finally are able to take off this centerpiece here, and what I'm actually going to show you here is what we were pushing down on. So over here at the top, I'm going to stick my pen in, and you have to be really intricate with this, and I kept missing it, but right here, the bottom one, I would start with this top one right here. Well, it's top now, but it is the bottom. This is what you're pushing down on. So once you're able to push down on this, you can free the bottom part. On this side over here, these side ones are honestly the most tough ones because I'm going to show you where I was going. So once I stick my pen in, you can see I was already missing the pin. But you have to angle it at a certain point, just like that. Oh goodness, I can't even do it right now, see? But basically you have to get your pin to the right side of that. And it was a little challenging. And likewise to this side right over here. The pen's going in, and you got to push the pin like so, just like that. All right, so I didn't want to show you guys just me struggling, rather so just showing you this more so. This is definitely a little bit more in depth in my opinion, and you can actually see where you're trying to get at. So just be mindful of that. But yeah, we're going to move on to the next step, which is disconnecting these little connectors right here and all the plug and play stuff. And now we are going to remove these little orange pins. You might want something a little bit tiny and intricate like this, just so you could flip these little pins upward. Once you're able to get underneath that, you just flip that up. And the good thing about this is that they are color coordinated, so black will be black obviously, and blue will be blue. And then we are gonna just wiggle them out. Let's see if I can wiggle this bad boy out, like so. Gotta give it a little tug. And there you go. And then we have some more things to disconnect here. Let's see what we got. Where did my tweezers go? I just had them. Stressing. Brother. I'm sitting on it. And there is like a little thing right here. There is a little pinch you have to make right there. So you are gonna have to like sort of, in a sense, I guess if you have tweezers, it might be easier to just squeeze it on out. That's actually what I'm going to try and do right now. All right, able to take that one out. And then for this one, looks like we are just going to squeeze like so. All right, so we were just able to remove this piece right here. So now we have a nice little airbag right here. Don't mention the Band-Aid, I just cut myself really bad. But we are okay. So now we are gonna continue to just take some things out right here. We do have a 10mm hex nut socket right there. And we have some bolts right here to take out. And then we're also gonna have to unplug this guy right here. So let's get into it and let's see where we have to do this. We are actually gonna take this out first. That way. Leave that right there. Another one right there. All right, just unplugged this bottom one right here. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize how bad of an angle this was. Shoot. If you don't have one of these, you do want to get a 10mm hex nut socket. This is a 3/8, and this was the only thing in my local shop. So the only thing I'm gonna have is a breaker wire. So I'm gonna just do this, and I'm gonna just break that open. You might want to hold the steering wheel at the same time that you do this, so you don't do anything crazy. Ooh, man, this one's like torqued to like 300, bro. All right. So, as you can see, that's a tough bolt. But we're able to take this out now. That was my workout for the day. All right, big old bolt right there. Keep that right there. And this should come out. And do want to just be careful. Make sure you loop all of this wiring through. Nice and gentle and careful. And voila, we have the OEM steering wheel now. Now what we are going to do is we are going to take out everything here. And we are going to transfer all the buttons over to the brand new steering wheel. And then we should be able to plug everything back in. And yeah, let's get to it. We're going to transfer all the buttons. So this is a side-by-side comparison. Do keep in mind, I did remove these bolts earlier. So it's actually part of the buttons and whatnot. So I'm going to get a pry tool actually, and I am going to try and get in here and start pushing up on here. Actually, I'm just going to take this back piece from the original one. Stick it on right there. Should just stick on like so. Very nice. Now we have a nice little base here. And then we are going to see if we could pry these buttons and whatnot out from back here. Might be a little bit easier now that I have this. All right, we got our buttons here. And let's see what we need to do to transfer this over. All right, guys, we have just transferred all the buttons. Unfortunately, the silver piece is still here and we can't get the carbon center piece on just because it's not compatible. But other than that, everything does seem like a pretty good fit. And we are now gonna go install this back into the car, and yeah, we'll be rocking. Let's roll. So let's plug everything back in. Let's make sure we dot every I and cross every T. So first things first, actually, let's not even do that. Let's just slide this back in. Forgot, the steering wheel was upside down. So let's just be mindful of that. loop everything back on over and through. Okay, so now we've done that. We are now going to put this middle bolt right back on in there. So now we do have 2 more bolts to put back. And these ones are going to be going into these side panels right here. So let's quickly go on ahead and put that one back in there. And we got one more right over here. Okay. And we're just going to reconnect everything here. So starting off, we did have this white connector right over here. It's this way. So that one's back in there. This one we are going to slide back in there. Okay, blue push right on in there. Black we gonna push right on in there. Well, bam. And then we're just gonna be careful here. Make sure all this wiring and stuff doesn't get too mustard or crooked or anything like that. Push that boy back in there. All right, we can go on ahead and put this back in here. I mean, that's pretty much it. Why don't we just start the car back up and let's turn this wheel back over so we can put on this bottom base, and then we'll show you the end product when the wheel is straight.